joining us for another episode of What a Disaster, where we watch and review a disaster movie as close to weekly as we can possibly stand. I am Gregory Allen, and as usual, I'm joined by Richard Sawasinski.
Hello, Greg.
And Liz Bedore.
Hello.
We are also joined by a special guest from the podcast Every Horror Movie on Netflix, Patrick Dunn.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, Patrick. This week we let you choose our fate, and you accepted this responsibility by picking the apocalyptic laugh riot from 1988, Miracle Mile.
True.
So that one was written by Steve DeJarnette, who just kind of does TV stuff, but I feel like most everybody in this just kind of does TV stuff now. So what drew you to Miracle Mile?
Well, a simple Google search for best disaster movies, because I was like, what disaster movie should we do? I was thinking about, the obvious ones like Armageddon and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to go for a little deeper cut than that. So I just did a Google search, and this showed up on a list of best disaster movies, and it sounded really weird, and I had never heard of it before. So I was like, let's give this a shot.
It was a little weird, and I am cut deep by having watched it. So, Miracle
You
Mile.
might say it had a deep impact on you.
Ooh, I like it. That's a pun, Richard. You looked a little blank.
Plus one for disaster movie puns.
Right. If we can work in disaster puns outside of like the beer we drink, I'm totally on board.
I'm usually not the pun guy, but that just occurred to me.
It hit hard
happened,
too.
Yeah.
That definitely.
Like a meteor striking the earth.
I need to stop laughing for a second before we can continue.
You could go in the other room. It would be a better podcast that way too. Podcast, not podcast.
It definitely wouldn't be a better podcast.
No, absolutely not. So this one is an American apocalyptic thriller that takes mostly in real time place in real time. The movie drops us in at the start of a budding romance between ER and Revenge of the Nerds star Anthony Edwards. Is he McDreamy or is that a different show?
That's a completely
That
different
is
show.
definitely, what are you talking about?
Is that Grey's Anatomy?
That's Grey's Anatomy.
That's the same show though. They shoot each other and then they like do surgeries.
Yeah, they both have George Clooney, right?
Yeah.
Pretty men doing surgeries.
I would love to see that show where guys just shoot each other
And then
do
surgery each other. Yeah.
That's pretty much like the Saw franchise.
All right, now you go.
Yeah.
So this Anthony Edwards has obviously been in ER and Revenge of the Nerds, and then opposite him is Mare Winningham as Julie Peters. Mare is most famous for being opposite Tom Hanks in Turner and Hooch, which is not about booze, which I would have liked it to be, but it's about a dog, which is actually better.
It's a buddy cop movie with Tom Hanks and a dog.
And the dog doesn't talk very much, which is great, because dogs don't speak very good English most of the time.
I did try to watch that movie recently. It was disappointingly sad at the end.
Turner and Hooch?
Yeah.
Didn't he live?
No.
Did Hooch die?
Hooch
dies
I
in
thought Hooch so must have
Hooch
been
takes a
Canine that
bullet.
lived. I think Hooch lived in Turner and Hooch.
No, it's
No,
Air
he
Bud.
definitely
Is it
did
Air
not.
Bud where he gets shot and lives?
Just
Yeah.
had to deal with this recently.
No, Hooch dies, but he impregnates the dash
Oh, that's
hound.
right. They have puppy hooches.
Yeah, they're puppy hooches.
And so he starts with a new hooch at the end,
Yeah,
as
Tom
if the
Hanks
first
replaces
never
Hooch
happened at all.
Easily.
Are we gonna get a Hooch too?
I wish.
Turner and Mini Hooch. I would be
Turner
like,
and Hooches.
Hooch Jr.
would that what was Beethoven 2 called?
Beethoven's second.
Beethoven
yeah.
second. Yeah. So this would be
Great-
Hooch's
great
second
sequel title.
because Hooch was a well-known composer. That's the word I was looking for. He was a very well-known composer.
Yeah, that's a connection.
Yeah. So basically, this whole movie is people running around LA trying to find and then get out. We're done. Podcast is over.
It's Cloverfield. We already did this movie. Let's move on.
It is pretty much Cloverfield.
Cloverfield didn't have tube steaks.
It had a helicopter. It's basically the same thing.
And rats, but no tube steaks.
So,
There are
Patrick,
definitely some distinguishing factors between this and Cloverfield.
You name one
I'd
difference
say.
between this and Cloverfield. Name one.
Tube steaks.
Okay, one, there's not a
Mute his
monster.
microphone. Mute his microphone.
you're already dead to us.
One, there's not a monster. Two, it basically starts out as like a goofy romantic comedy, basically.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
It is almost a rom-com.
if you don't know what you're watching, you could easily watch this and be like, oh, this is cute. And then there's nuclear missiles and horrible things happening about 20 minutes.
It really escalates quickly.
Yeah.
Like the whole intro, I'm like, I think I'm supposed to think that these people just met, and I confirmed that. I had to read to make sure because I thought I must have missed something, and I did. They just met like that day, and they're suddenly like madly head over heels in love with one another, and that seems
It was
quick,
clunky.
but
I didn't know what was going on because we write these notes at the beginning, so I'm trying to watch and get the notes figured out, and it's like
Do we ever know what's going on when we first meet the girl of our dreams, Richard?
Yeah, no. I think the beginning of this movie is just them going on their first 2 dates. Because he mentioned on the second date, on the third date, she's going to bang the crap out of him.
Yeah,
That's what
she did
says
say
to
that,
him.
and he was very impressed that she was a nice traditional lady.
Oh, you wrote this down?
There's
Yeah.
a beautiful line.
Oh, it is so romantic.
Third date, Harry, I'm going to screw your eyes blue.
Yeah, I wrote that
That's
down
not an
too.
expression I've ever heard before, but
I mean,
like
they've
it.
been saying it since at least 1988, so it is a thing.
Which is why Harry was in such a hurry to get her. 'Cause that was the third date. He was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? It's our third date. I've been looking forward to this all night."
At midnight. Midnight is date number 3. Definitely we're going to have sex tonight.
He went to sleep like saying her name over and over again.
It feels very much like a script, like a line that a man would write for a woman. Like, oh yeah, I want this girl to have sex with me on the third date. And a girl would totally tell me on the second date, I'm going to screw you. I'm going to screw your eyes blue next date.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything's going so well that I'm willing to tell you that I will absolutely put out next time, but not this time.
Yeah, not this
Because
time.
there's something holding me back, and it's clearly not my morals.
Society.
It's social pressures. I mean, really, they should have been banging from the second this movie. So the first third should have been a pornography film.
It would have been a more entertaining movie.
No, it wouldn't have. This movie was beautiful. It was a love story. There was romance. There was tube steak. You meet old people that don't talk to each other.
This movie was short.
It was
There's a
short.
crackhead named Spongy.
Thank God.
Tube steak, you're referring to the scene in which she screws his eyes blue, right?
Yes, that's the tube steak. She has the biggest, baddest tube steak that he can give her.
I feel like we should explain the tube steak concept since we've already referenced it a couple of times, right?
Tube steak concept explains itself.
So, was that her dad that he was introduced to it? Like he was hanging out with her and her dad in the park?
I thought it was her grandpa.
Was it her
Yeah.
grandpa? I don't know. I don't know how old people
At
are
the
supposed to
trombone
be.
show.
I did. I knew they were hanging out in a park. That couldn't have been a guess.
No, it's her grandpa.
It could have been a guess.
They say it in the narration.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's kind of old fashioned. She brought her grandpa to my trombone show.
But she'll still screw your eyes blue.
I would not
Not that
show.
old fashioned.
I would not show anybody's grandpa my trombone. The end of
What
the
about your
date,
tube steak?
my tube steak, absolutely. He can have a bite of my tube steak. That's fine. I'm willing to share hot dogs.
Just be careful.
I offered you a hot dog when you got here. Actually, that
No,
really
you
big.
offered me a hamburger.
No, there's a hot dog in the drawer. I held it up for you. That
Oh, well, I'll
big
have a
meat
hot
tube.
dog.
That was a giant hot
Go
dog.
get me a meat tube.
Go get you that meat
Let's
tube.
pause this.
It's a big meaty tube, and it's all beef, and I think it's even got a local brand.
There is a tube of
Dearborn.
meat downstairs with Patrick's name all over it.
I mean, every guest we have, I write their name on my penis, so there is always for our guests a big tube of meat.
You're still doing that?
I've been doing it since high school. I have to use a very fine marker. Yeah.
Permanent ink. I mean, it washes off, but it's there for like weeks.
Yeah,
That's what's fun
yeah.
about it.
Just lasts until my first shower, which is weeks. So,
Right?
Just a little dick talk. No, but what about tube steaks? Will somebody explain tube steaks?
so they I feel like this was the end of the day. He's dropping her and her grandpa off at home. And they get there and he's like, "Can I get you to a tube steak?"
Oh, right. This is even weirder than I kept asking someone else to explain it because I forgot, and it's weirder than I remember.
So he asks about the tube steak and she turns him down. And I feel like if I were in that situation, I'd be like, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm okay." But no, Harry is 100% on board with Grandpa's tube steak.
Harry's excited about the tube
He
steak.
was amped for tube steak. Grandpa's bringing back a big tube of meat.
I wonder if Harry's name was written on the tube steak.
Do you guys think that
With
this
magic
is
marker.
this universe's vernacular for hot dogs, or do you think it's another dish?
No, it's definitely hot dogs.
Definitely
It's-
hot dogs,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a term that has been used for hot dogs for a while, tube steak.
I've never heard it. No.
I have, and like I said, most of the time it was only as in reference to penises.
I had never heard the term before, but I will never not use it to refer to hot dogs.
I don't know why they don't
I will
name...
never use the word hot dog.
Actually, though, the tube steak
Or
thing is really
Lady's
funny,
name.
but not because like the term tube steak is funny. It was disarming, but because like 10 seconds later she runs into her grandmother, and
Yes.
she tries to feed him too. Everybody's just trying to feed them, and she gets really upset with her because they're getting tube steaks with her grandpa.
Well, and we should explain there's this weird situation between the grandparents where they haven't talked to each other in years.
15 years.
But they live together.
Yeah. But
And they love each other.
Live in the same apartment. I was
It
really
seems like they
unclear
live in
on
the same
that.
apartment building.
They
I
live
don't
in the
think
same
they live in the
building.
same
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah, but it's like this weird thing when they run into each other in the park. Like if you live in the same building and have for 15 years, you think you would be over it if you happen to see that person. But no, it's still super weird. Like they happen to run into each other in the park and they're like weird like high school exes where they're like and they like turn away from each other. It's
Right. And Grandpa
strange.
never said anything about her. So I don't know if it's Grandma being kind of a snooty hooty tooty about the whole thing. Maybe she doesn't like tube steaks and he's always trying to get her to eat a tube steak. Or maybe he's trying to get him to eat his tube steak.
So Grandma made vegetarian casserole, and Harry hears that. He goes, "What about the tube steaks?"
Wait, was it vegetarian casserole?
Yeah. He
Oh,
goes,
that's
your
what it
famous
is.
vegetarian casserole, and Harry hears that and gets really upset with her. Kind of. He goes, "What about the tube steaks?"
And somebody cries, if I remember this correctly.
Grandma cries.
Grandma cries.
Didn't Mare cry? What was her? What is that character's name? I already lost it.
Julie.
Julie. Didn't Julie get really upset? Like, whoa, Harry. Let's not try and deal with this
Let's
nonsense.
not bring the tube steaks into this.
Yeah. Yes. There was a lot of tube steak drama. Tube steak related drama in this scene. I feel like I was missing something. Like, are they arguing about something other than tube steaks?
Yeah, there was a lot in this that felt like I had to know their personal relationships at this point, and I really, not only was I not interested, I didn't know it.
It's
So,
covered. It's covered. They're moving on at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, this movie sat in development for a very long time.
It was a hot script.
Yeah, it was a hot script. It was one. You know how they like in Hollywood they rank, they have every once in a while they release a list of scripts that like haven't been made into movies yet, but they're
The
hot.
blacklist.
Yeah, they're backlist, and people really wanted to make this movie. They fought over this, and director writer he bought it for $40,000 back from the studio, and then they tried to buy it back from him for $400,000. It was a real.
He should have sold it.
He should have sold it.
Yeah.
He wrote and directed. It's his first movie.
Which good for him.
Yeah.
First
that's a
out of
great
how many?
start.
Yeah.
I could do a movie this good, for sure.
Yeah.
For $40,000.
Yeah, you give me 40 grand, I'll knock something out for
Yeah.
you.
Well, the budget was $3.7 million in the end, and it made 1.1.
Oh right, yeah.
Well, yeah, but
$40,000 was not the budget.
No, but that's what they bought the movie. If somebody offered me $40,000 to write them a script that was at least this good, I feel like I could do that.
Yeah.
You give me like 2 weeks and I'd have that figured out for you for 40 grand.
Oh yeah.
They tried to buy it back for $400,000. He was like, "Nope, not selling this beauty." Like, it is sat on it for 2 more
all
years.
mine.
That is amazing. I mean, that is actually some serious artistic integrity because if someone offered me 400 grand, you know, even if it was my baby, I'd go
For Liz,
Hell yeah.
I'd sell Liz. Like,
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Liz, there is somebody coming for you. It is an unmarked van. Just there'll be some bags in the way. Drop them on the car, then get in and you're good. We already sold her for $400,000.
you got it all in cash, duffel bags.
It should be cash in duffel bags,
Yeah.
which you will leave.
Would you leave the bags?
Leave the bags. You get in, leave the bags.
We're gonna
Okay,
do
but
it.
I'm taking all the things out of the bags. Just I'll leave the bags.
Hey, it's not my money. They already paid me.
Oh yeah, they bought all the lobsters. I forgot about that.
They bought the lobsters and threw them back in the
Has
bay.
to be
first off-
$1,200.
Yeah. He's obviously Harry's a successful tromboner because he's bought all the lobsters.
And the guy even told him it was going to be $1,200. He was like, I really have to impress this lady with probably the worst haircut the 80s could provide.
That
Oh.
is quite a haircut.
It's
I
like,
gotta say.
it is a mullet
Yeah.
mixed with, like, imagine the surliest grandma you know, but also with a mullet that's red hair.
No, it looks like the Aladdin saying like David Bowie mullet, except it just doesn't suit her face at all.
It is definitely
like that
David
looked
Bowie.
great on David Bowie, but it doesn't suit Mare Willingham's face. Winningham, yeah.
Winningham?
Her face.
Winningham? That's like a
Mac.
pig contest, isn't it? Winningham?
Yeah. So what is the purpose of this benefit concert that our hero plays?
Is it a benefit?
It's for the Pan Pacific something. Someone is passing a can for the Pan Pacific something or other at this concert, and it's a cause that he's playing music for, but we never really understand what it is.
He's just there stroking his tromboner.
Grandma.
So Grandma is actually in Evil Dead 2, the original Evil Dead 2.
Oh.
She played the lady's
I like that you said the original Evil Dead too, as though there's
there's the new Evil Dead. I don't know what they're doing, if they're making another one or not for the. But yeah, she played the old hag that was buried in the root cellar.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I like when people are in movies that I liked.
appropriate casting. I can see that. This is an interesting scene though, because our hero throws a cigarette out the window and a pigeon picks it up and drops it into its nest, causing an electrical fire that is basically, a huge inciting incident in this movie.
Yeah, it makes him miss his alarm clock.
Yeah.
So he's late for his date, so he shows up at the cafe.
The third date.
Yeah, third date. He has flowers.
His very important date.
Because they're going to bang it out.
Yeah.
And he shows up at the cafe with a bunch of flowers at 4 a.m. And that's when he takes that phone call where he finds out that the world's going to end.
It's the 80s. He's worried that his sheepskin condoms were going to expire because they hadn't invented latex in the 80s.
No latex. Did he even have plastic at all in the 80s?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was
Were they
just.
still using those when you guys grew up?
Clocks are really important in this movie too. Like clocks are all over the place in this movie.
Yeah.
They bring. I don't know why. I feel like
Because there's a big time element. It's counting down to. I mean, we still haven't really even explained this, but at some point it becomes obvious that nuclear warheads are heading into the United States, and they're coming in 45 minutes or something like that.
It was ours were going out in a half an hour. We should expect the retaliation in an hour and 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Ours are going out in 45 minutes. The retaliation was an hour and 10 minutes.
And so it's very much a race
Excuse
against
me.
the clock thing as he's trying to find her and to get out of
But it all ends up
LA.
being arbitrary anyway. They throw it out the window because it's like, well, I guess they're just off schedule. So
Well, but I mean, it builds tension for a long time.
No,
And
it
they
doesn't.
do a really good job of actually showing the progression of time in very small increments. Which
I
is
hate it.
A bit of a challenge.
I hate seeing clocks in movies.
Okay.
Especially
I
movies that
love
are so
that-
boring that I kept checking my clock to see
I
how much
was-
longer I had to watch
What,
this
really?
movie.
I wasn't bored by this movie.
Oh, I was not a fan, especially leading up to where he gets to the diner after missing his alarm clock and missing his date. He goes to the diner and just up to that point, the movie was boring. It did nothing for me. I was sick of watching it already, and I think that carried over to the rest of the movie. It left a bad taste in my mouth.
When he goes to the diner late at night when she's already gone.
Right, it was like 4 a.m. He was supposed to be there at midnight.
Oh, that was super interesting to me. I mean, I
Leading up to this part of the movie, like him
leading
getting
up to
there,
that.
this whole because without the bird starting the fire with his cigarette butt, he wouldn't have gotten that phone call. It would not be the movie it was. He would have just been eating a gyro and.
I mean, the way I saw it, this was actually pretty fast moving, at least for a movie of its time. Like you can have
Rats.
a lot slower pace.
Oh, yeah.
at this-
Rat
in
budget.
this time period.
They have a rat budget.
You could. This movie, like all the movies we've watched up to now, all of them have had rats and a helicopter.
Oh,
And usually the rats are.
Wow. Yeah, I hadn't recognized that.
Oh, yeah.
Everything we've seen.
There's
But
a
no, that's
helicopter in
Crack in the
Titanic?
World did not have rats, did it?
Titanic absolutely had rats.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
No,
Crack in the
I
World
said
didn't have rats.
helicopter.
Yes.
Oh, in the
Titanic?
present scene.
Yes,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
present
that's
day,
right,
they're
that's
flown in
right.
with a helicopter.
No, they rescued all the passengers. Nobody died during the Titanic
Chris is
thing.
gonna murder me.
The helicopters.
I love the clock at this diner.
The one
I love this
spinning on the
entire
sign. Yeah,
diner.
I like
Yeah.
that.
The
Yeah,
entire
itself
diner is
great.
incredible.
Yeah. And I love all the characters in the diner. There's this really interesting mixture of people. There's a cross dresser at the counter. There's a I forget the other characters right now. We'll say them in a
Snaggletooth
second.
waitress.
Yeah, Snaggletooth waitress.
So we've
Wow,
got
she is Snaggletooth.
yeah. Oh yeah, she got a chipped front tooth
Yeah.
or something, and it just really is apparent. But why
Okay.
do the bizarre people only got to be out at night in all these movies?
That's
Weird
when the
people
bizarre
are all the
people are
time.
out, dude. You ever been out at night?
Yeah, but there are weird people during the day too. We just ignore
Okay,
them because the
no,
lights on
there's
them.
a quote. They say in this movie, it's the witching hour. All the weirdos come out.
That's true. They do mention that.
Yep.
And we see Spongy yelling at the street cleaner. The crackhead
Oh,
yelling
yeah,
at the street cleaner.
He's in a bunch of scenes in this, isn't he? Is he?
He
is he in this several times?
He is. And in the end, the street cleaner is a total dick to Harry. And you find out that, like,
Yeah.
Spongy's rage was justified the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that guy's name was Spongy. That's
He
a
said
great
something
name.
like, Spongy won't have it, or like something like within his little monologue, like he announces his own name.
Oh,
I know we were talking about. I don't know. I feel like the pacing on this movie gets a little weird. And
Why
then
does
there's
his nose
stuff that,
bleed?
yeah, he
Into the
walked
egg.
into a damn door.
Oh, You're right.
He walked face first into the door, walking in there.
I thought it was like anime, like he saw pretty like a boob or something, and his nose
bowling
blowing.
alley.
So I wonder if
Where is that?
I don't know.
Oh, the topless bowling alley. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
the top,
nude.
Yeah.
Do you got a bowl nude, or do like who's
Does
nude?
everyone? I'm
Every
imagining a bowling alley where everyone is nude.
Everybody's naked.
But the shoes.
Every
Nudist
ball
bowling,
is
yeah.
swinging.
Every ball is swinging.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for that, Greg.
He gets a little loony, like, and
Yeah,
so the
he's
bloody
creepy.
nose. At first, when I first watched this movie, it's like, why does he even have a bloody nose? What is the point in doing that for this movie? But then I realized that it just makes him look like he's on coke.
Yeah, that actually is kind of a good scene because they do a really good job making him look like a. This is how a crazy
Looney
person at
Bins.
4:00 in the morning would act.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Like Spongy.
Because he's just gotten this bizarre phone call warning him of an incoming nuclear attack. This dude who works in a nuclear missile silo
Chip.
has called.
He has a name, and it is Chip.
Yeah, has called the wrong number, and it rings through to this
He was-
payphone.
Yeah.
In a fantastic
I'm sorry for
payphone
interrupting.
No,
Sorry
no,
for-
it's
you know,
good.
Yeah, the payphone was cool looking.
The payphone was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And so Harry is now burdened with this knowledge that no one else has, that nuclear missiles are inbound to LA.
He thinks.
He thinks.
Yeah.
And he could have just been the recipient of a crank call. We don't know.
Yeah, because Chip gets like shot while on the phone. Like,
Yeah, we hear gunshots.
and he remembers his dad's area code pretty quickly, but didn't remember to type it in right. And it's completely different from the area code of that payphone too. It's
213 or 7 something.
yeah, like 474 or something. Like, the numbers weren't even similar.
They weren't close.
Oh,
They were movie numbers too. Obviously, they use those fake.
Did they
movie
do the
numbers.
555? I didn't catch a 555.
No, it was not a 555.
This is the other character that fascinates me in this diner is this crazy stewardess. There's a woman,
yeah.
there's a woman in a booth who's like talking to herself and motioning, like miming the motions of putting on the oxygen.
Yeah, she's
mask
going
in
through the safety
airplane.
procedures of when you first get on a flight.
But no one else is in the booth with her. She's not talking or gesturing.
You get the
to
vibe
anyone
that
else.
she's just practicing for the
Yeah.
next flight that she's going to
Maybe
do.
she's new.
But that you find out a little bit later that's her sister's outfit. She's not a stewardess at all because
I
they're like,
missed that.
"Do you know any pilots? You've got to know a pilot. You're a stewardess." And she's like, "No, this is my sister's outfit."
she's
I'm just
100%
obsessed with
nuts.
flight
Yeah,
attendants.
she's just a Looney Tune.
Yeah. Maybe
Wow.
she wants to be a flight attendant. Yeah.
She's dreaming of flight attending.
I'm obsessed with flight attendants too. That's such an interesting life to me.
As Patrick was mentioning earlier, he being Harry goes to make a phone call from a payphone, which did exist in the 80s, to call the girl he was supposed to go on a date, missed the date because he set a fire with a bird in a cigarette butt. And the phone rings, he picks it up, and it's Chip calling to say, "Oh my God, the nuclear strike is happening. We're attacking first. We can expect a retaliation within an hour and 10 minutes. He goes into the diner and is losing his mind, going nuts, grabbing people. He grabs the waitress by the wrist who has hot coffee, who should have just thrown it in his fucking face.
Bleed on everything.
He's bleeding everywhere. He looks like a cokehead just ending his night. And finally convinces everybody that they're, with the help of shoulder-padded woman with a cellular phone,
Young Hillary Clinton.
young Hillary Clinton from Star Trek, was it Next Generation? Star Trek Next Generation.
She died in like season 1 or 2.
Yeah, she died. The blonde lady that died, Ensign something or other.
Spoilers.
Well, she died in Star Trek. I guess it is.
I mean, she probably dies in this too.
We don't
Spoiler
see it.
alert: the nuclear weapon attack is real.
I forgot what her name was. It was super. Like when I was a kid, I was super.
I was like, wow, she died. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she becomes like a hologram later on. She's back in the show for an
she
episode or
gets eaten
something.
by
too.
like a mud monster.
Whatever. She becomes a ghost person on another planet. Who cares?
Yeah, she's the worst.
She
Moving on.
stinks.
She has the same haircut. She looks exactly the same.
Yeah,
She's
she
basically
does.
wearing the Star Trek uniform.
Right, just with more buttons.
But she's the one who saves everybody. She's the real hero in this movie.
She organizes a helicopter to shuttle people to the airport from the roof of a building that's nearby. So they're
That's
all
Landa.
now trying
It's important to remember her
Landa.
name is
Landa.
She's played by Denise Crosby.
Denise Crosby. You should know that name. That's a household name at this point because she's been in.
Very popular in the convention. I'm circuit.
She's been at conventions.
yeah. If you go to any nerdy conventions, Comic Cons, I'm sure she's.
She's not a household name. I was being
No, she
sarcastic.
actually is.
She's not, Richard.
She works a lot. She's in American Horror Story. She works
So
a lot
what?
in that.
American Horror Story?
Horror
When was she in
Story.
American Horror Story?
She plays like a mom or something.
She
looks the
plays
same.
a mom or something. So she stood out so much to you in American Horror Story that she plays a mom or something.
I actually remember from the show. I read the credits when I was doing my
Yeah,
research.
that's what I-
and she's not that like I was going to do more research on her, but she's gone after this. Done. That's it. That's the last you see of her. She's probably one of the more popular actresses in this movie.
Only because your parents made you watch Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Maybe I chose to watch.
You
it.
did not choose to watch that. None of us chose to watch it, but
no.
now we do like it.
Worf
so.
had like a weird poop head. I hated it.
He did have weird poop head.
Wait, we're like moms and dads into the next
Oh,
generation.
yeah.
My mom loved sci-fi.
Loved it.
Was it so?
Riker, she loved Riker. What do you got? You got the beard.
I'm sure she loved Riker. And we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back with more about whatever the name of this movie is.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell what the name is?
Miracle Mile.
Miracle Mile. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
Dad, it's me, Chip. How come the phone was busy just now? Jesus. Look, I had to wake you in. It's happening. I can't believe it, but we're locked into it. 50 minutes and counting. Christ, I just can't take it. I can't fucking take it. I'm sorry, Dad. I shouldn't swear. I'm sorry, but this is it. This is really it. This is the big one. Thor Arthur 66 ZZD. You know, like I told you what would happen if it ever came down? Well, it is. We don't know why. I mean, why would we, huh? It's for real, Dad. It's no drill. We shoot our wad in 50 minutes.
We are back with Miracle Mile, and we are going to now get back into the thick of it, where Harry is on a mission to find Julie and get on a helicopter, get to an airport, and get to Antarctica. He finally gets through to them with the help of Cell Phone Lady, who, by the way, I don't know why she couldn't have just been a strong female character who was involved with the government. No, her boyfriend was involved with the government. What the fuck was that?
Right?
The 80s, that's what that
Yeah,
is.
seriously.
Oh, right. And she tells them that all the politicians are already in
But-
South America.
Her boyfriend was the person involved in politics, but she already knows all of the politicians and their locations.
I dated a guy who had all this information and was
Right.
powerful. I myself don't do shit.
I'm just a little lady.
Yeah.
I work from home. I work at home with, my kids and my dinners or whatever, probably.
I liked the conspiracy theory note that all the politicians in the U.S. had conveniently relocated
yeah.
to South America for this incident.
They all went on
I liked
vacation,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that. At the same time, it's a little too real.
So they all pile into a food truck and with the people at the diner, including the guy who runs the diner, and they go to a
That guy he just grabs a shopping cart full of fucking food.
Oh, I love that part.
And he's just like, "Well, I'm out of here.
He's the only guy doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, first he holds a gun up to Harry and goes, "Tell me, are you telling the truth?" And Harry's like, "Well, that's a fucking gun." So yeah, I'll tell the truth. Yeah.
Which one doesn't get me shot? Because that's the one.
And then immediately after that, he goes, "Fine, I'm good." Fills up a shopping cart full of food, jumps into a food truck that they have out in the back, takes everybody to a helicopter pad. The whole group
Was
of
that a
people.
food truck?
It was like a
Yeah, whatever, it's a panel truck. Who
It
cares?
was a refrigerator
full
truck.
of food
It was a
when we
catering
got
truck.
in there, right?
It was a catering truck.
Catering truck.
I'm
Yeah.
fantasizing a little right now because I'm like slightly hungry and I'm like, oh, a taco truck would be the best
Guys,
way
like
to
some
escape
tube
the
steaks right
apocalypse.
now?
But you know
Yeah,
what?
just
It was a
eating,
diner. You would have been
pounding
eating
tacos.
You would have been eating warm gyros out of the back of a truck in the middle of LA. No thanks.
Oh, also, let's take a moment to note that the word gyro is pronounced gyro.
Oh yeah, he definitely
movie.
says gyro. He's not
Yeah.
from Michigan.
No.
The Midwest in general, really. They get in the panel truck and the catering truck, whatever you want to call it. They're driving around, and the owner of the diner is like, "You can get out if you want. I'm going to slow down when I get on the freeway. You can jump out there."
On the on-ramp.
Yeah.
He didn't slow down very much either.
I mean,
Oh,
just
right.
enough to not tip the truck as he's trying to escape LA.
Yeah, he would have stopped for like 15
Which was
seconds.
the right move.
Oh, for sure. Harry takes a dive out of the tumbles, and this is where we're introduced to Michael T. Williams' character. What was his name?
Right after,
Wilson?
right after two motorcycles
Narrowly miss
yeah.
him.
He was,
the fuck over here.
he was for sure almost squished.
Yeah, because Harry holds the gun over his head, like he's the one surrendering, and Wilson, who's driving this convertible car, still slams on the brakes and turns the car sideways. It's like, please
Yeah,
don't
he
shoot me.
fishtails the vehicle for sure. And the trunk pops open. We see it's full of Stereos, yeah.
I sell black market stereos. That's what I do.
He thinks he's about to get shot in the face by some crazed cokehead. So Harry threatens to shoot some kid in the face, steals his car instead, forces him to drive at
Carjacks him.
gunpoint. Yeah,
Kidnaps him.
But in a
he
weirdly
kidnaps,
polite way.
carjacks, and is just very courteous for a guy that's about to like see a potential nuclear holocaust in his future.
And there's not a whole like this is an important scene coming up, Greg. We do these for every movie we watch. So he pulls into this gas station to get some gas, but it's a taxi cab gas station.
Wilson's like, they're not going to give us gas. This is a taxi station.
And Harry's like, they will, because I'm white, and they'll do this for me.
No, he waved a gun in the air.
Yeah,
They will.
Yeah. And the guy in the gas station comes out with a shotgun and points it at Wilson because he's black and says, like, what are you doing? Like, he wasn't even doing anything wrong. He was just pumping gas. He was willing to pay for it. He's like, gonna steal gas? And
No, I'm going to pay you for gas.
yeah, I'm gonna pay you for gas. But he still holds the gun to him. Like, that's characters act weird in this movie. Like, put the fucking gun down. Like, the guy is not even armed. What are you doing? You're in the middle of a busy street and you're holding a gun.
But he's racist.
Yeah.
That's an obvious, like, this black guy's here, he's going to steal.
Because
That's-
Harry comes
that's the
out
response.
with a gun from the payphone.
Doesn't even point it at him.
Doesn't even blink. The guy with the redneck with the gun who's holding out Wilson just goes, "Oh, the gas will be $50. I'm gonna charge
you want
twice as
gas?
much."
$50.
Yeah, that's it. Problem solved.
That's the gun rate.
Yeah.
Also,
Right.
$70 for a tank of gas in 1988 is obscene.
That's
Because
crazy.
gas would have been like
Oh, yeah.
less than $15, but less than $10
But are you
probably.
sure? What about the gas crisis? Remember, there was gas.
That was the 70s, buddy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wasn't sure when gas got really expensive.
No, the 80s, it was pretty cheap for the most
Like
part. It would have
99
been
cents
like,
a gallon, right?
watch, even in LA, like if you watch Die Hard, it was 74 cents a gallon or something in one of the shots
I
in the
remember that
background.
when I was a kid. Yeah. So like, did the cops show up?
Cops show up, which makes sense because there's a guy holding another guy at shotgun point
Yeah.
in the middle of the street. So
But I think they also like
good
point
call
their
on.
guns at the black guy. I think
No,
they
no,
also-
no. They come in and immediately go after the guy at the shop guy with the shotgun.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then Wilson sprays the cops with gas.
Because he's scared that the cops are going to look in the trunk and find all the stolen stereo stuff. So
Which I will say is something I've not seen in a movie before. I haven't seen somebody just douse someone with
He's
gas
never seen
from a
Zoolander.
gas-
I'm gonna say you never seen Dude Zoolander.
Is that in
It's
Zoolander?
The best gas fight you'll ever see in your life.
gas fight.
Gas fight.
And it's to
I don't remember.
wake me
that.
up before you go.
Hey, all his friends die within the first half hour of Zoolander. Every friend he has dies at a gas station because of a gas fight.
How do I not remember that?
Don't you think that Patrick doesn't realize yet that there's more to life than just being really, really good looking?
Yeah, stop it, Patrick.
Problem with that?
Well, that's why you should watch Zoolander. Like, what are you doing?
It'll teach you a life lesson. The rest of us uggos just have to live that way. So,
Blue Steel doesn't work for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, excuse me, I have to go practice my blues.
Anyways,
yeah.
the cops die. First death.
The cop points the gun in the air, pulls the trigger. I think it was an intended warning shot, like, stop spraying me
I'm
with
covered in gas. This is the worst.
Check out how smart I am. And shoots her gun in the air and just catches on fire.
So Yosemite Sam's friend throws himself on top of him, like, "You're on fire, man. That sucks." Also covered in gas.
So no, did you guys think this was funny when you watched it?
It was so weird. I didn't think it was funny. I've had some drinks now, so I think it's funny now.
It would be funny
That
with
was a-
yakety sax over the top of it.
That was a very dark sequence.
Very dark.
We're not giving this movie the due that it deserves because it does not portray this in a way that's humorous at all.
But it was stupid. It was humorous because it's stupid. It was Darwin.
It's desperation.
Yeah. But like,
So I mean, I reacted to it really strongly. I was shocked by it, and I was like, "This is." It worked well as kind of a progression from that really surprising scene where you learn nuclear missiles are coming in, and it was like, wow, some fucked up shit is starting to happen. And I reacted to it very viscerally, but I don't think you guys are alone in thinking it's funny, because I was reading some reviews from the time, and some critics were like, oh yeah, this is funny, and there's a very dark humor to this scene. It didn't hit me that way at all, but I don't think you guys are alone at all. I mean, I feel like people react very differently. to
Yeah,
this movie.
so I can see where people would. When I first watched the movie, I did not find it funny. With some drinks in me, everything's funny. But it was very, and I agree. It struck a different chord when I first watched it because you see, it's. I don't know that the pacing is what I would expect from the desperation and madness of realizing that the world is about to end. But Harry's character, I'm saying, goes from just regular dude to I know the world's about to end and I'm alone in this, to I now have confirmation that the world is going to end, to I am desperate to find the woman I love or lust, more realistically, because he's known her a day.
Same as Titanic.
Yeah, he's at a point of desperation where he's willing to steal a car at gunpoint, which is something that is presumably out of character for him. I guess I don't know his history.
I've only done that twice, and both those times were emergencies.
And getting to a point where this guy has been, that Wilson is held at gunpoint, forced to go to a gas station he knows doesn't want to help him, then held at gunpoint again, then held at basically gunpoint again by the police. I mean, he is backed into a corner. His only response is the one that, I have gas here, I'm going to try and separate myself from this situation. So it all kind of, it plays.
But it still doesn't seem that fast paced. They don't seem like they're in that big of a hurry, ever.
The police were definitely trying to contain the situation, but
No,
Wilson
I mean the main
was-
characters.
Harry's pretty slow. Like, he just kind of walks.
Harry and
Harry's
Julia.
very plotting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
He still doesn't know what he's
Yeah.
doing.
He just left Wilson standing there. Like, he held this guy with a gun, says, do what I say because I have a gun.
He is the most
And just leaves him
obtuse
there.
character that
Wilson
I can
just could've
think
left.
of. Harry.
I mean, he definitely seems like a moron, but this thing felt. There seemed like a sense of kind
there
of
was
frantic
definitely
energy. to
exactly.
me.
It
Unless
was,
you're
it was-
Wilson.
I agree with
Unless
that.
you're Harry and he sees a guy who looks like a helicopter pilot and just walks away. I mean, the whole movie, Harry's just like got ADD. He has one task to get Julie.
You would not be focused if you were just told that you were going to die in an hour and 10 minutes.
Try me.
Yeah, you would. What are you talking about?
No, you'd be all over the place. Your brain would be fight or flight mode. You would be panicked. You would be trying to figure out what solution makes the most sense. You would not be like, I need to think every single problem through start to finish. You would be going from, do you know somebody that can help? Do you know somebody that can help?
Yeah.
You'd be, it
You
makes
would burn
sense that
two
you would
cops
panic.
alive.
At least some people
and
would panic.
immediately move forward with their day.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what they did. They got in the car and they
You
left.
just killed a couple people. Let's go.
Yeah, we should go now. And they left. And they went to go get Julie. Wilson was doing his whole thing under duress. Gets left in the car at Julie's apartment building.
Yeah, that
by
was
himself.
thick.
Yeah.
That was real thick.
But he still stayed for a little bit. He was still like,
Very nice of Wilson, because I would have left immediately.
yeah, he's like well, Harry tells him, honk the horn in 4 minutes. Harry tells him, don't wait for me, kind of. We'll honk the horn in 4 minutes. Wilson honks the horn in 4 minutes. Harry's
Wilson's desperate to get out of there to get his sister.
Yeah.
Because Harry's telling lies about what's happened. He
Which
tells
is dumb.
Wilson that there's a nuclear meltdown at a local power plant. And Wilson's like, well, I got to get my sister so she doesn't die of whatever nuclear meltdown does to people.
Harry is reprehensibly selfish in this
Oh,
movie.
absolutely.
And I mean, but also in a realistic way. Like, I can't say, I might even do that. If
I would have
if
got
I
your ass
received
out of
this
that car.
news.
I'm not dealing with
Yeah.
somebody else's nonsense. If I'm stealing a car,
Yeah.
I just want the car. You fuck off.
Unfortunately, I would have
Yeah,
left
true.
Julie.
Good luck.
I would have left Julie. So Harry's reprehensible, but he's going after this girl he's known for 2 days. I'd have left
Not
her.
even 2 days.
True,
It's like
true.
that day is when he met her.
I would have called her one more time and left a message
I
on her
don't-
voicemail. Been
I
like,
think that's true.
That is
It's 3 days.
this movie takes the place over a day.
Does this not harken back completely to Beth
day.
in Cloverfield? I mean, I know this comes
They had a
before it,
relationship with Beth, though. He
They're
was
best
friends with her
friends.
since high school or something.
Don't
but
care.
This movie takes place over the course of a day.
I don't know.
but 2 days.
I'll Wikipedia that
It's
shit.
2 days.
Wikipedia.
You can see. The film takes place in a single day and night.
What?
Now, how sick does he seem? Selfish and
Third
corporate.
day?
Pretty fucking sick.
He's disgusting.
yeah.
Okay.
A day.
All right, can we take a break though?
Go. What's the problem?
You want some gasoline? It's gonna cost you $50. Cash money, no credit cards, man.
Okay. There you go. There's $50. And if you could just start pumping, please. We're in a real big hurry.
I don't pump gas, man. You're gonna have to pump that yourself. Y'all got the guns, man.
Did we come back in on
How's your moon cheese?
Oh, it's so good.
I'm going to do it again, but
I wanna try a moon
this? We haven't talked at all about what stuff we need to
Yeah.
talk about.
welcome back to the
Substantial
Moon
crumbs.
Cheese Mile, where we're finishing up our discussion about nuclear warfare, and cheese.
Wow.
Woo-ha!
This is crunchier than I expected.
I'm gonna have nuclear war here when I'm done.
Yeah. So we didn't get beer this time. We got beer.
We got beer. We couldn't find beer. I mean, we got a
Oh, are
beer
we
that's
back?
We got a badass wine.
Come on,
Come on.
Patrick, you're crunching.
Patrick's
You're
just
asking
eating in the
questions.
microphone. Man's never done a podcast before.
I'm sorry that you guys had to live through that.
Yeah.
I'm crunching away from the microphone until I swallow.
No, he's eating moon cheese, which
Not
is
the first time I've said that in my life.
That's probably true because
Which is munchies with a hard U.
Let me one more time upsell the Every Horror Movie on Netflix podcast.
Oh yeah, can we talk about that?
After we're done with our movie.
For like 5
Jesus.
seconds. You got 5 seconds. Tell us everything you can. Go. 1.
I'm gonna do the Mark Maron thing.
3.
All right, let me talk to you about every horror movie on Netflix.
All right, great. So we have. If
plug.
you've been listening, you've heard us talk about the drinks that we have. We try and grab themed. Either we shoot for beers. Today we couldn't find beers. I got something called Dank and Hazy, which is kind of tenuous. L.A. with smog and hazy. So that's what I went with.
It's got a pretty can.
It pretty much tastes like drinking a grapefruit, but also it gets you hammered drunk.
If a grapefruit had 7.8% alcohol.
Yeah, it's great. It would be the best grapefruit. I would eat it for breakfast 3 times a day.
Wait, you would eat breakfast 3 times a day?
I would that grapefruit, yes,
Okay,
for
all right,
breakfast
all right.
3 times a day.
But then we have this fantastic wine called Boom Boom.
Is it good wine? I mean, it was. I drank it.
It's a decent red. I don't really know much more than that.
I don't like red, but it was fine.
I don't drink wine much, but I drank that and it worked.
It's thematic. It's called Boom Boom. It has a big line art picture of a bomb on the front. And that suited our needs.
It cured
was
my
fine.
soberness.
It came out in 2014. All I know about wine is last time I was in Europe, they had a lot of it, and I put a lot of it in my face.
Yeah, that's.
How was
yeah.
that?
It was wine.
It was good.
What kind of wine is it? You just said it's a red. Is Syrah? Is that the type of wine it is?
Syrah.
Made in Washington. It was made in 2014, so it's aged.
Land to Hand Vineyard to Bottle, Columbia Valley, 2014. It is by
Cruelty-free, organic.
Charles
Premium.
Smith Wines of Mattawa, Washington.
Washington. There's no W anymore.
Washington with an A.
We're getting rid of the letter W today. So from here on out, no more W's in your vocabulary if you're a fan. If you're not a fan, you know what? Fuck you.
You just said what?
I said hut
According to the Surgeon General,
with a hard H.
women should not drink alcoholic
Ever
beverages.
because they should be cooking.
Yeah. Why aren't you cooking?
How does she have shoes on?
She keeps taking
Just
them
tracking mud around my house.
back. Yeah.
Me?
Back in the kitchen.
My shoes?
You know what? I don't care if you're not wearing shoes. They can't see that you're not wearing shoes.
Or socks.
But I'm not wearing shoes.
But they can't see that.
That was very unfair.
Well, I happen
So is
to be
life.
drinking a Stone Tangerine Express IPA, and I don't know if you guys chose this. Thank you for the beer, by the way.
I
but
did choose it. I thought it looked
Yeah.
good.
Hey.
We
Very-
find that getting our guests drunk helps a lot with making them happy.
Yeah,
It makes them like me
does
more.
help a lot. But it's also very appropriate for the movie because we haven't mentioned this yet, but the soundtrack is by Tangerine Dream, which is
Thank God
you
for
go.
that.
Yeah.
legendary.
We found a tenuous link yet again. Perfect.
Wait, did you guys not choose this on
No,
that basis?
not deliberately
I
on
just
No,
like
we
citrus
definitely
IPAs.
did.
Oh, okay.
I'm good at
Mixed
accidentally
signals
picking
here.
beers. Yeah.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I didn't even think about the Tangerine. The fact that Tangerine Dream
Yeah.
did do this soundtrack.
There's some subconscious stuff at work here.
You can't
Yeah.
see this,
Thank-
but I'm wearing a suit and patting, gently tapping sweat away from my forehead right now, from my brow with a handkerchief.
flop sweat.
Flop sweat?
That's what they call that.
Is that what they call that?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
When you get nervous and your forehead starts to sweat.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So we're flopping.
yeah.
Gross.
You are. I'm
Oh,
not sweating.
just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
anyway,
of a
Sorry to
dither.
interrupt your review
Patrick,
of
how's
the
the beer? How's the
Tangerine Express.
Tangerine
How's
Express?
the,
Oh,
how
it's
is
great. It's great.
is it faster than normal Tangerine IPAs?
You don't have to.
It
You
is
don't have
much
to worry about
faster.
exits or anything.
Yeah, it's
or
just moving
stops.
straight through me. Actually,
Yeah.
can we take another break so I can go to the bathroom?
Yeah, right. That's
Patrick's pooping on my floor.
Yeah.
So
Sorry about that.
good talk.
Yeah. I'm sorry you put in this this carpet. Right
Brand
before
new
that
carpet.
happened.
Yep.
carpet.
No, it is I would say it's the second best drink I've had tonight. The first was probably the Costco Scotch. I
Costco
believe.
Scotch, right? That stuff's fantastic.
Scotchco.
It's a 12-year Scotch, and it's like
great.
$50 for a handle. I'm
It was
on board.
great. Yeah.
I don't even like Scotch most of the time, but that I love it.
Yeah. And then there was the Tangerine Express, pretty solid. And then the is it Dank and Hazy?
Dank
Yeah,
and Hazy.
That was
Yeah.
that was decent. And then the wine. I'm just not a huge wine person. I don't really have a taste.
You do an
for
awful
wine.
lot of whining before you got here about
For a guy
to
who
do this
complains
show
a lot,
with us.
you don't like wine. It's weird.
I gotta go on a podcast.
This is some red. You guys okay saying lighter?
Tube steak and what? Man, if there was a tube steak beer, we definitely would have.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. We would have spent $100 on that beer tonight.
for sure.
That's how that happens in this movie.
Yeah,
Reform.
There are moments, and you want to talk about those moments, but between those moments, it's just Harry running to find Julie or Harry with Julie in a shopping cart.
In Julie's eyes.
Yeah.
See, but I felt like there was so much that happened. It's only 90 minutes, and we get introduced to so many little side
Yeah.
characters along the way, and I felt like there was
There are a lot of
almost
Vex.
constant incident in this movie.
I don't know. I don't like how coincidental everything feels. That's my biggest issue with it. It's this thing happens and oh, look at that. This person's here for some reason.
But that felt so realistic to me. Like if you're running around LA in the middle of an oncoming fucking nuclear missile attack, probably you're going to run into a lot of weird people.
It's going to be a shit show and you're going to meet Spongy.
I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
to be fair,
Exactly.
if you break into a gym screaming at people asking for a helicopter
are we talking
pilot,
about that? Are we getting there?
I think,
We're almost there, actually.
I think we're either really close or we are there.
So this is where we're at right now. Harry goes to Julie's apartment, which is actually the wrong apartment from what the girl gave him at the restaurant. I found that little piece of trivia on IMDb. She said a different series of numbers.
So what?
Yeah, it's just interesting because they
She
take
was-
time to show the numbers on the apartment building, right? They take
Right.
time to show those numbers, and they not show those numbers, it wouldn't have fucking mattered.
but they also
still
take time
doesn't,
to like
but
make
I
her
get it.
very secretive about where she lives because she wouldn't tell him at
you
first.
spend a lot of time. Julie doesn't tell
Would
him where
you
she
tell
lives.
the person that you met that day where you live?
With your grandma?
So that's a no.
No.
No, absolutely
You
not.
know what,
would
though,
not
Greg?
do that.
No.
If I was willing
I
to
live
say
in
the
that
words
one.
to you, I will fuck you till your eyes turn blue, I would also be willing to tell you where I live. That's the order in which those things go for me.
So, right, but if you're crazy and taking handfuls of Valium, you probably have something else going on that might make you a little less than stable.
So that's the key, right? So Harry goes to the house to get her, breaks into her apartment to find her. Everybody has a gun in this movie. So
It's America.
Excuse me a minute. Greg has been a little loud. I'm going to adjust his volume now.
take a nap, Greg.
Oh, believe me, if I could get a prescription of Valium, they're just like, no, you need ADD stuff.
Or something wrong with you at all.
There's definitely something wrong with you. It's just nothing we can cure with medicine.
Go home.
Sorry, Rick.
So anyways, they showed up. They get Julie. He gets Julie. Julie's asleep. And Julie's grandma just lets this strange man take her with some really weak story about nuclear missiles.
Real quick.
In a shopping cart.
Hang on. I know you say let's, but she was pointing a rifle at him that whole time he was in that apartment.
But still, like, goes, she's dead to the world.
oh, it's
Go
you,
take
guy,
her.
that I met this afternoon, giving you a balloon.
Oh, you played a trombone. You're fine.
She didn't even know about the trombone.
No, she did.
Oh, presumably, yeah, she would have.
You're from the band.
Hey, where's your trombone? No, but anyways, I mean, that's a weird thing to say something.
But she said something like, "You're from the band."
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep pointing this gun at you,
Right.
but I think you're okay.
I don't know how he even diffuses that situation. I think he was just like,
He
no,
didn't have to. It was just like, I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to say crazy things, and you're not going to shoot me.
missiles are coming, we're all gonna die. He keeps grabbing the gun and pushing it away from him. He's like, missiles are coming, we're
No,
all
he
gonna
very
die.
assertively like grabs it and holds it against him.
Well, yeah, the barrel was to his side, and he was trying to avoid being shot. I get it.
So he does
I would try to avoid being shot.
He
by
does
a
eventually
lady.
get Julie, and they run into Julie's grandpa and grandma in the elevator because he picks Julie up and is like carrying her in the elevator because she's asleep because she took too many Valiums.
He's kidnapping somebody. Yes.
Yes, he's taking her.
To
Against
roll
will.
her through the streets in a shopping cart.
Did not ask permission, but they run into like Julie's grandpa in the lobby.
Right.
And that's the first time Julie's grandpa and grandma have spoken to each other in 15 years.
Yeah, we did touch base on that
They
earlier.
finally speak, and they'd agree to go get the car while he takes Julie and wheels her down the street in a shopping cart, saving him
They're
no
good with
time.
it. No, yeah,
Saving him-
that's fine. I know that there's about to be a nuclear holocaust. Everybody's going to die, but we're going to take the car down to the pier so we can go eat a burger, a greasy burger.
We're going to take the car to Julie's
Hell
favorite
yes,
restaurant.
that sounds perfect. Actually, just
No,
Can you and my daughter that are going to live fuck off, please?
Yeah. They said we're going to take the car to Julie's favorite restaurant. You guys can just walk to the helicopter. You'll be fine. And so Julie and Harry take a stroll to the helicopter.
The Valium thing is one of the great things that you're just supposed to sort of overlook in this movie. Like, she basically ODs on Valium while her grandma looks on. Her grandma aids her through the process of
Grandma
taking a
offers
shitload of
her
Valium.
diet, says, here, I have
right,
a
the
diet
diet
pill.
pill.
That's
You can wake her
right.
up. Let me just
Yeah.
crush her up a line real quick. We'll knock this one out. We'll get her going. It works every time.
And she's like still under the influence of Valium for
Yeah.
a
The
whole
significant period of this movie. Yeah, maybe the whole movie. Well, not the whole movie, but
I
In
mean, you don't
Cloverfield.
know. Could be the whole movie.
Don't hurt me, man. I got Nakamichi Pioneer. I got everything. If it doesn't happen, I'll pay you. If what doesn't happen, man? I'm dreaming. That's it. I'm dreaming.
Y'all ready to go? You the pilot?
Hey! Hey, do you know anybody who can fly helicopter? Helicopter pilots.
All the helicopter pilot bars are closed.
What's the problem?
It's true.
Love can be exciting.
Trust me with this.
Welcome back to What a Disaster. We are about to finish up our review of Miracle Mile. Right now, we are about to witness a kidnapping victim be removed from a shopping cart, carried to the roof of a building, and left with strangers.
This was in
with
fact a
weapons.
kidnapping.
Oh, for sure.
Later on, she consents, but not immediately. And then he lies to her about why he's kidnapping her.
He lies to everybody about everything. He's a piece of shit.
He tells Julie, who wakes up in the shopping cart, that we're going on a special
We're going
date.
on the sweetest date you've ever been on to Antarctica
Oh,
because
it
nuclear
must
warfare.
be a balloon.
Right.
And I don't want that. I don't want that balloon. I have a whole bullet-pointed
What is it?
list
Yeah.
of her balloon points.
Yeah.
So she thinks it's a hot air balloon.
you have a drawing of a balloon.
Yeah.
She did. She drew a balloon. It's
I was
beautiful.
very-
Visual reference.
Can you wave the paper in front of the microphone? Maybe people can see it.
Sure.
Yeah. You see that balloon?
That's a
Oh,
balloon.
yeah.
This is all of my balloon
visual
notes.
watchers.
We're gonna hear the balloon.
Bullet point 1. Girl assumes a helicopter takes them to a balloon. Not that they're going up to a helicopter to do a helicopter date, but they're going to a helicopter to do a balloon date.
She has some serious expectations about dates.
Dude, she's very disappointed by this. Balloons are awesome if you're on Valium. But this is not something
Or
that she
helium.
realizes. 3.
You're right.
She really wants it to be a balloon date so that she can be condescending and shitty about it. But it's not a balloon date. It's a helicopter date.
Wait, do you really think she wanted it to be a balloon date just so she could be snide to him?
She brings it up so many times that yes, I think that's true.
She goes, that's the kind of thing it seems like you would do. It just goes, it's a balloon date. He never ever says it's a balloon date, ever.
No.
Balloons
He just
never
said,
come
maybe.
up.
He does say maybe.
He was probably going to take me up in a hot air balloon. That douchebag.
What a fucker.
And then she's like, can you reschedule the balloon date because I have other things going on.
No, she's excited. Her grandparents are talking again, and she wants to reschedule the balloon date.
She's
really?
like,
I don't remember anything you're talking about.
you can just reschedule this balloon date. She says it. She's like, can't you just...
That's right. Yeah, she wants to reschedule it.
I would like to
Can't we go
know.
up in a balloon another time?
You just buy balloon tickets, and you can just trade them in for other balloon tickets?
That deposit is transferable.
Who takes a balloon date at 5 in the morning?
Who takes a
Sunrise
balloon
of a
date,
balloon
Greg?
Oh, it would be beautiful.
Sunrise of the balloon. Oh.
I would push a button for that, but I got to make the sound with my mouth. We're not a radio station.
help.
You're not. Yeah, you're
Wait,
not
wait,
crazy.
stereo.
Ira.
And on
You
that
don't
note,
understand romance, Greg.
I would like to finalize the point that this balloon date was entirely made up, and she is disappointed that her date is going to be in a balloon while she's being rolled in a shopping cart down the streets of LA.
I'm curious about at what point in her mind she was like, this is maybe not a hot air balloon date. Was it where women with guns were right behind them? Or was it when they were on the roof talking about somebody paying them money to take them to an airport?
Valium is a hell of a drug.
But here's my question. Who were those women with guns?
They were government agents from the what I gathered from
Were
it.
they?
With no
Linda's friends.
impact
They were
on the
Linda's friends.
story at
Landa.
all.
Landa, sorry.
Landa.
Landa's friends.
They knew Landa. They appeared to be involved in government, and they had weapons, and they were prepared for the nuclear.
They were the comedy. These really pretty
Situation.
ladies with like machine guns just show up like out of nowhere talking about like pills and having guns, and it was so fucking random and ridiculous.
That's another example where I didn't find it comical at all, though. That was just another thing where it was like, yeah, probably random ass people would be running around with guns in this
But
situation.
nobody knew about it except for.
But how do you-
I mean, to be fair, yes, other people could have known about
Word
it.
probably started to spread.
I saw them with guns, and I was like, "Are they like robbing the bank? Is
They're
this
like
a weird
Uzis.
coincidence?"
Where do you get Uzis?
Well, yeah, I was wondering why Thelma and Louise came into the
Exactly.
picture
I thought Thelma and
when
Louise, too.
they didn't really have any point at all in the plot, and they weren't after the main characters, but the main characters always seemed to be running from them anyway.
They were in the movie for 3 whole minutes, but every minute they had an Uzi. It was
extremely suspenseful that the characters would get away from them.
If I had a gun, I would have shot the fuck out of everybody else that showed up on that roof. Are you the helicopter pilot? No?
Greg, this is why you don't have a fucking gun.
That is why I don't have a gun.
Yeah, it's shit like that. Every time you're like, every time you go, if I had a gun, it always is followed with, I would murder everybody.
You shoot a handful of people and suddenly you're a bad guy.
Yeah, you are a bad guy if you shoot a handful of people. That's how it works.
Agree to disagree.
Her hair is so bad.
It's so bad. He gets that weird, like, almost buzz cut mullet thing.
Yeah.
It's atrocious.
Yeah. He gets in the elevator with Julie, and this is where you figure the movie's just, all right, we're good. We're in the elevator, we're at the helicopter. They need to take the helicopter to an airport to get an airplane. That's their plan. And they only have like 30 minutes left at this point to get on a helicopter, take it to an airport, get on an airplane, and get the fuck out of Dodge.
Oh, God, but there's so much more great stuff that has to happen.
Yeah, so many more things happen because they don't have a helicopter pilot.
Yeah, okay, helicopter pilot. He gets to the roof. There are people waiting. There's a fucking helicopter. How it got there? Who knows? Maybe it was towed because there's no pilot around to fucking fly the goddamn thing.
It's a corporate headquarters.
There's just a helicopter.
Helicopters?
Yeah. Who knows? There's a helicopter waiting on the roof of a building for no good reason.
There could be a helicopter.
Richard, you worked in a fucking airport hangar. People don't just leave them exposed to the elements without tools for repair.
This is the streetcar face down.
No, but Harry is sprinting alongside this street sweeper.
Once again,
much
he
like
looks like
Spongy
a
the
lunatic.
crackhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much Spongy and Harry are the same character at
Synonymous.
this point.
And the street sweeper just opens the window and says, fuck you.
I'm just impressed
Then Harry sees some attractive runners.
I'm going to go chase some women.
Maybe they know somebody who knows how to fly a helicopter. I mean,
And of course, they're all running to the gym.
I'm going to go back to desperation making you do desperate things.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to survive, which I probably would, I would chase the shit out of anybody I could and be like, do you
Ahoy,
happen
matey.
to know a pilot or maybe somebody who might know a pilot or anything in between? Please, for the love of God, I need a pilot.
It works in this movie.
But what you get is pink neon and gym.
And a pilot.
Gym being a location for working out, not Jim like Jim, a guy that wears
Well,
neon
there's
pink.
the blonde guy with no name. He could be Jim.
Okay, can we acknowledge, though, this is one of the most insane scenes in this entire movie. Harry runs into a gym where people are working out, and it should be known that this is at 5 a.m. This
It's a busy gym.
That's very
full.
common, actually.
Oh, I never
Having
Titties.
worked out at 5 a.m. at
Is it usually
popular
that
gyms,
full?
this
can
is
be.
about right.
Okay.
But yeah, so some dude in a suit comes waving a gun around, and nobody's batting an eye.
He,
Except for this
walks
guy,
into-
bats
he
one eye.
walks into an 80s
Who is this Dark
exercise
London
video.
dude? Like, this guy's been in
This
other
is a
shit.
montage without a montage song.
Yeah. So the guy he finds to pilot
What else is he
helicopters,
in?
he's doing
Absolute
shoulder
badass.
raises. Who is this guy? This guy,
I've seen him in stuff.
he's been in things. Is he the
Everybody in this
Beastmaster?
movie is one of those, like, oh my God, it's that guy.
He looks like the Beastmaster. I don't know who the fuck that guy is, though.
But he tells Harry,
He's just-
yeah, I'm a helicopter pilot.
A Schwarzenegger lookalike, basically.
Yeah, and he's a badass immediately. And so Harry's like, okay, will you come fly my helicopter? And the guy's like, I gotta get somebody. Harry's like, there's not time. There's not time. And the guy's like, I gotta bring somebody. Harry goes, okay. So the guy walks into the next room, whistles, and his boyfriend walks in. He's been working out in the next room.
His boyfriend, who looks exactly like.
That's a girl, dude.
Nope.
That was his
It is
boyfriend.
a dude.
It's
He's
a
gay,
dude.
and they actually
He's
mentioned that.
gay.
He goes, is that a problem? And Harry's like, no, it's not a fucking problem. Do you still fly a helicopter with a dude on your
Right.
dick?
How gay do you have to be to not be able to fly a helicopter?
Yeah.
I mean, so two of my favorite scenes back to back. That scene in the gym where we meet my favorite character, the helicopter pilot, the gay helicopter pilot whose name I forget now, and his boyfriend. And now this scene where a police car randomly plunges into this department store.
But it was piloted by some people that were not police.
Or driven.
Yeah, it was hijacked by
driven.
by Wilson.
Wilson, that's Wilson again. Wilson comes
Wilson
back.
and his
Our
sister.
guy.
Yeah.
Our guy.
Because Harry Wilson
Presumably
stole
his
that cop
sister.
car earlier when they set those other cops on fire.
Yeah.
So Wilson comes back with this cop car, but he has his sister with him. They all been shot up.
Yep.
And this is probably one of my favorite visuals of the whole movie when Wilson is stumbling up a
Oh
down
my
escalator.
God.
This shot right here, where the red and blue lights of the police car are flickering as he tries to stumble up this escalator with his dead sister in his arms. It's a really weird.
And this is where
It really shows the desperation of Wilson.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on right now and what he can do to make things right for him and his sister.
There is no
really
better
tough.
portrayal of emotion in this movie, I think.
Yeah.
This is where Harry also starts to realize that he might have fucked up. Harry starts to think, like, maybe I Chicken Little this whole fucking thing. And I got this guy, Wilson, he's working on completely momentum. Wilson didn't get the call, didn't talk to somebody in the government to get some sort of, like, affirmation that, like, Thor Arthur code word was actually a real code word. He just like gets told by Harry that this is a bad situation. We need to get out of the town. And Wilson goes and gets his sister and ends his life and his sister's life in the process. And at this point, Wilson's like, you fucking lied to me. And Harry's like, maybe I did. Maybe this whole thing has been just I picked up the wrong phone call and just caused a bunch of fucking death.
Yeah, I feel like this movie, not to get into spoiler town here, but this movie would have been much more powerful if he had been just straight up wrong. That there was no nuclear attack. That's kind of where I was hoping it would go too. Just all the lives that he fucked up from this one phone call that he decided to take as the word of God and start telling everybody this is what's happening, and the people that died because of his actions, and then him having to live with that would have been more powerful.
Because from this point on, things go bad real quick.
Yeah, it's just bad to worse.
You see, he runs outside. There's traffic jams. People are running. People are panicking now, and all this is presumably because he told one person who told one person who told one person who told one person. Because there hasn't been a news announcement. There's no air raid siren. Like nobody's talking about this in the media that we can tell. I mean, Wilson's dead. His sister's dead. Presumably, all the people in the food truck are dead. We don't know what happened to them. Harry watches his new friend, die, and him and Julie, they figure out very slowly they could just lie about the fact that they didn't know what was going on. So Harry, being the genius he is, sends Julie out first, like a brave man.
Hang on,
big man,
real quick. The gender stereotypes aside, can we talk about how she was just like this dude that I met today, who could be a complete fucking loon? And maybe just got a bunch of people killed because he was acting like a loon. I'm going to defend him. And we're just going to be like, we're just strangers here. It was just coincidence.
Yeah.
She's ready to protect this dude. She's as horny as he is.
Valium.
And it's fucked up. Between Valium and hormones, these two should not be allowed anywhere outside of LA before these nukes show.
They're a danger. Look at all these people who are dying just because he wants to get laid.
Julie was ready to just lie to the police and say, we just showed up here to check on these people that drove through a building. We don't know what's going on.
Right.
She doesn't know him.
I like when
this is a day.
I like when Harry flips over the giant like sand timer, the egg timer, the big like hourglass. He flips over the big hourglass and he takes his gun, puts it in his jacket pocket, and walks to the cops. Doesn't even like go like I'm gonna put the gun down.
I always approach police officers with a weapon in my pocket. Yeah.
Also, the grip on the gun broke when he jumped out of the car. Did you guys notice that?
So I saw that it was gone.
This is one of my favorite visuals. They walk out of the store, and they think that the cops have them surrounded. They walk out of the store, and then a single SWAT team dude swings down from a rope from the roof and runs across the fucking street.
He fucking falls off the rope, gets off, and books.
Yeah, because
doesn't look behind him.
Because the city has descended into anarchy in the meantime. And this is the beginning of a lot of shit that I really appreciate about this movie,
and we're back to that spinning clock at the diner.
Yeah, where they depict how the city has just gone to shit as people have realized the nukes are coming in. And it builds really slowly.
And Harry's like, is this my fault?
I love the insanity that we see towards the end of this movie. Just the direction of the extras on the street is amazing. We see a woman like rushing along with a stroller, trying to get her baby somewhere. There's so many interesting scenes that you pass on the street.
This is probably the most interesting scene. And then Harry tries to get back to the helipad, and like he walks in some guy's roof of some guy's car, and this guy who's concerned about his life decides that he's going to instead chase Harry with the gun. He chases Harry with the gun, chases him into the sewer.
And he just keeps
shooting at him. And Harry doesn't even care about this guy. He doesn't even look back. He's like, fuck that guy, whatever. He can't hit me. And the guy chases him for a really long time. He just starts yelling at him, like, I'm going to get you.
This is probably the most realistic representation of what would be happening.
Yeah.
And I hate it. because
Yeah.
I know that this is what it would look like, and it makes me sick.
Yeah.
Make me sick.
I also really like the news footage that we see. There's this one horrifying scene that we see on the TV where a news anchor is trying to report on what's going on, and some guys are trying to tip a car over in the background, and then somebody just shoots the news anchor in the head point blank. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's very well done.
Yeah. And,
It's until we get here.
they kind of like fly through the end because the end is what it is, right? Like they ride this elevator to the top. They see the what was that guy's name?
Which one?
The hunchy guy, the hunchback guy.
Oh,
From Ghostbusters 2?
Gorstead.
Gorstead.
Yeah.
Gorstead.
Yeah.
Gorstead's on
Something with a G and an R.
Gorstead's at so Harry and Julie bang in the elevator. The elevator stops for a while. They bang in it.
They don't bang.
They
I have a
they get very
Gerstead
naked.
They get
bullet
ready.
pointed list of how gross he
They're
is.
pretty close to banging. I don't know if they actually, if there's any.
They're on the brink of coitus.
Okay. I think time passed and they banged.
Please never say that. Actually,
It's not clear if time passed and they banged or not because the camera pivots to the control
No,
panel.
watch it. She starts to take her blouse off. Then they hit the top floor. They walk out. She's like putting her blouse.
the first
back on.
when I started watching
they
it,
should've.
they showed the panel and I was like, oh, it's just malfunctioning. But then as I was watching, I realized that it was going up floors.
Yeah.
And it was just a slow moving elevator. I threw air quotes out there for everybody that's watching at home, which
a
is
quote
nobody.
unquote
Quote unquote a slow
elevator.
moving elevator, but it's not actually a slow moving elevator. They don't get to the point where he actually gets that third date.
So they never get that third date in.
He doesn't get his blue eyes.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's what I was just about to say. His eyes never turn blue.
So he gets up to the top. He sees Gorsuch. He's actually looks like he's sat with a dead
Gorsuch?
body. Yeah, Gorsuch. Neil Gorsuch. He sees Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. He's banging some dead body on the ground.
Yeah.
So it looks like he gets off of her.
Gorstead is.
Gorstead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Neil Gorsuch. Please don't sue.
Whatever. He's
Hopefully Richard's smart enough to edit this whole thing.
he's
out.
illegitimate anyways. So he
I thought his name was Dick.
yeah. Well, Richard's gonna get fired for not editing this.
We're going to jail, so just enjoy it.
Oh well, there's no libel laws
We
against
just-
public figures.
We just throw
So-
Supreme
None of
Court
the
Satire.
justice.
We're good. We're covered. He's full of pills, and he's mumbling. And now you finally see missiles. So now you see that Harry wasn't Chicken Little. You see missiles, and then the helicopter guy comes back for some stupid reason, picks Harry and Julie up, and then crashes into the ground,
Yeah. No, not in the ground.
Into a tar
into
pit.
the tar pit.
Yeah.
into the tar pit, because the EMP from the missiles knocks the helicopter out of the air.
Okay, the shots of the missiles coming into LA were chilling. To
That's
me.
what they're marking.
Yeah, that whole
Even
from the
though
top
it's like
of the building,
80s,
it's 80s
you know,
cheesy,
whatever, special effects,
Yep.
quote unquote, it was still chilling.
I
to
agree.
me.
That was
To see
a
those
rough
missiles
moment.
coming over the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
I was watching this in a car on my cell phone, and honestly, the visuals of this were disturbing.
Small.
Maybe a strong word, but it's small. They were small. No, it was it stood out and it popped, and I was trying to be in the moment with it, and it was rough.
Yeah.
I thought the end was kind of rough. Like, so the director and writer defend end, and he got his ending he wanted, which was Julie and Harry they're in the helicopter, they're in the tar pits in which they met, so full circle, and the helicopter slowly sinking into the tar pits.
Oh yeah, because the studio wanted a more positive, redemptive ending.
Yeah. The director and writer said, I'm absolutely not doing that. That's why he bought and maintained the option of the script. He wanted to make sure the ending was legitimate, like the way he wrote it. And they died. They died in a helicopter, and it's kind of chilling because they're in this little helicopter, and Harry's telling her the whole time, Julie the whole time, it's okay. And Julie's freaking out. She goes, I don't want to die like this. And Harry's like, you can't go outside. It's just as bad.
Right. What are you going to do? Get out of the helicopter and drown to death
Yeah.
in the tar pits anyway?
He goes, if we're lucky, we'll get hit by a direct strike and we'll turn into diamonds or something. He's just saying whatever he can to make her feel better.
Yeah.
And they implied they get hit by a direct strike at the end, and they die.
Well, because they're at the site of the museum where they first met at the beginning of the movie, and so she's trying to seek some solace in the fact that they might be remembered or might be memorialized in the museum. And the line that was like really chilling and impactful to me is she says to him, people are going to help each other, aren't they? Like after the blast, and he says, I think it's the insect's turn.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's rough.
All right, let's go to
man.
break and come back with our reviews, and let's wake Liz up.
I'm awake.
She's awake, but we're on break. Awake break. We'll be back.
Rewind.
People that know people. Neighbors, anything.
Can I see your membership card?
Listen, excuse me. Do you know anybody who can fly a helicopter? Any helicopter pilots? No. Hey, do you know anybody who can fly a helicopter? Helicopter pilots? Huh? Any talk over there? Excuse me. Do you know anybody who can fly a helicopter? Do you know any helicopter pilots? No. Excuse me. Anybody here know any helicopter pilots? Anybody here know how to fly a helicopter? I said, does anybody here know how to fly a helicopter?
I don't remember where we left off. I don't particularly care. People are dying. The world is ending.
The helicopter sinking.
We're going to give a review.
Sinking.
The movie's over.
The movie's over.
Yeah.
We're very happy that we're going to be finished here. In
Everybody's
just a few
dead.
minutes.
Literally everybody's dead.
I was not
The whole
happy.
planet.
I'm
No.
gonna register I was not happy.
I, for one.
Patrick Dunn apparently empathizes with human loss.
Yeah.
That wine was very strong. We all got a little drunk.
Richard, I'd like to hear what your final thoughts are on the movie.
Sure.
And I would like to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, on the Richter scale, what do you got for us?
I got you covered. I actually kind of liked this movie. It was a little slow, but it was a product of its time. You could really see that. I liked the feel of the Insomniac feel of it. Like everybody's just a little wacky. Everybody's just a little bit off. It's 4:00 in the morning. I did read they filmed this movie at night, and the main guy was like, we'd go get beers at 6 a.m. in the morning after filming, and people just looked us crazy as like we're drinking 6 a.m. beers. Who are these people? And I felt that really got through in the script. Everybody felt a little weird. Everything felt a little weird. I thought some of the acting was a little weak, especially Julie. She mostly was just in a volume haze the whole time. I didn't think some of the people reacted in a way that was how you would react in this situation. I think on the Richter scale, it's a 6.2.
6.2 on the Richter scale. I also agree that it was dark and probably shot at night. Liz, what do you think?
5.7 on the Lister scale.
Wait, how many
I'm
points?
sorry, what was that?
5.7 on the Lister scale.
Did you want to get more explicit, or are you good there?
I like the sets. I hated the characters. That's pretty much how it goes for everything we've seen. I really like the sets and the props.
All right.
I really enjoyed that part of it, but
that.
everything else was pretty much par for the course.
Par for the course. Wow. Just
Plays
another movie.
Plays a lot of golf, so that's how she speaks.
Yeah. All right. And Mr. Patrick Dunn, what did you think of the movie?
First, what's the Richter's? I know what it is, but is it 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Richter scale is
That's my scale.
it's Richard's scale, but it's an intensity of earthpatrick scale. So it's a play on the Richter scale. So there's the Lister scale, the Richter scale, and then the Gregster scale. But you'll have
The Patrick's.
Patrickster scale or the Patster scale, whichever you'd prefer. I mean, you can choose. It's your scale.
Okay. Yeah. I was
Scale
wondering
it up.
I was wondering if Liz was just slurring when she said the Lister scale.
She is, but
Yes,
Richter scale?
and
Yes and yes.
I would give this a 7.5 on the Patster scale.
I like it.
There's a lot that doesn't work. The acting is definitely pretty bad in parts, but I really liked the weird genre shift in this, and it was really unsettling for me in a lot of parts, and I thought it really accurately depicted the chaos that would ensue in this situation. It was very effective for me towards the end, and it just builds towards something that was really harrowing. Those final scenes in the helicopter were pretty harrowing for me as the helicopter is sinking. Greg, what about the Gregster scale?
I'm sorry, it's Gregory. It's the Gregory
The
Easter scale. It's the Gregster scale. So I am kind of a combination of all of the above. I did not love the acting. And when Patrick said in parts, all I could think was, yes, all the parts, because I felt the acting was bad, start to finish. What I thought were poor decisions the first time I watched the movie, the more I thought about it, assuming they were artistic decisions, were good ones, because you go from, essentially romantic comedy type of attitude, a lighthearted movie where people are introducing themselves to a relationship to, oh my God, something terrible is happening, to what the fuck? And it all happens within an hour and a half. And that's jarring, but I think it's intentional. And that gives it a little more weight in my eyes. And I would probably give it, I think I'm going to agree with Patrick on this. It's going to get a 7.5 on the Gregster scale, 7.5 on the Gregster scale.
All right, I'll take that.
All right, so you're with every horror movie on Netflix. Obviously, we mentioned at the beginning, never throughout the podcast because we don't want people to know until the end again.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a website, a Twitter? Do you guys have any cool stuff you can share with us? What's going on?
We have a podcast. We have a Twitter. We have a website. Just look up Every Horror Movie on Netflix.com. Every Horror Movie on Netflix, on Facebook.
Could you spell that for me?
Twitter, EVERY.
I
forget what comes
No,
next.
there's no I there.
Oh.
EVERYTHINGHORROR.
This is exhausting.
MOVIEONNETFLIX. That's a period. COM.
Oh, man, bravo.
Hold on.
You studied up for this one.
Okay, grab your pens. Greg's going to do that again.
But the idea is we are, in fact, watching every horror movie on Netflix, A to Z. We're like 25 movies in now. I go home at night and cry.
Thanks for joining us on What a Disaster. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Number 2, pencils down. And we will see you next week.
Anybody's still right, he doesn't get a 0 on the test.
Yeah, you're totally getting a 0 on the test anyway because we're not grading them. We're just writing zeros on everything. And you'll probably be converted to every horror movie on Netflix from now on. Like really
Is your
close
middle
up.
name Charles?
It is. Yeah.
I wondered what the C in Gregory C. Allen stood for so long.
Charles.
I've called you Gregory
Constantine.
C. Allen so many times I never knew what the C was for.
Cockface.
Yeah, the C is for cockface,
Gregory
100%.
Cockface Allen, yeah.
Believe it or not, it's not a nickname that's actually on my birth certificate. My parents hated me from day one.
That is a Christian name right there.
It's a strong Christian name.
Saint Cockface.
Well, I came out of a Catholic family, so it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
It's pronounced cockface.
Yeah.
It's Latin.
Saint Cockface, patron saint.
Colface.
Cocks.
It's lost cock.
They just
How do you
disappear
lose
right
it?
down that face.
Right down that face. How do you lose a cock if it's right there in your face? But you know what? That's fine.
You know, some people
Just swallow. swallow.
What's happening?
I just want spaghetti and a tube
Where
steak.
were we?
We're right next to tube steak. Yeah, full circle.
I haven't seen Ragnarok yet either.
Oh, get the fuck out.
This is my house. Hello and thanks Richard for ruining my intro. I was totally nailing it until you.
You've never nailed an intro in your life.
That's not true. I dated a girl named Intro.